My bitch drive a all white rank. Couldn't hit it if you niggas had aim. Lanes can't call and you lame. You had it and you lost it, all the shame. I can buy a Billy, don't talk to me. For a show 150, don't talk to me.
Kyle Lowry is a 6'1" point guard who was drafted in 2006 as the 24th overall pick and was selected by the Memphis Grizzlies. He would play 3 years in Memphis and ironically 3 years as well in Houston until he would find his permanent home in the Toronto Raptors, and since then he has been a 5-time All-Star from 2015 to 2019 straight, and also was an All-NBA performer in 2016, making the third team. He is a player that throughout his career has been a really solid three-point shooter, can make free throws at a consistent level around 80 to 82%, but throughout his career he has the stigma of not showing up when it matters in the postseason. YouTube, what's going on? It is your boy Young Mustard, and today we are here to talk about the harsh truth about Kyle Lowry and why he needs to buckle up this postseason, and if he can't, his legacy is going to plummet down the drain if it hasn't already. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified after each and every video that I post. And without further ado, let's get on with this video. Kyle Lowry, say what you want about him, he is definitely one of the better point guards in the NBA. Not a top 5 point guard, but I definitely think he is a top 10 point guard in the league. Over the past 5 seasons, like I said earlier, he's been an all-star, but he's put up numbers of 18 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, just under 2 steals, 43% from the field, and 38% from the three-point line, as well as 82% from the free throw line. He isn't that efficient as a scorer overall, but he can space the floor at a really comfortable and efficient level, and he can also make free throws at a very high level as well. And as a defender, he's one of the better defenders for his position. So what exactly is the problem with Kyle Lowry? Kyle Lowry as a player individually is not the problem. The problem is that no matter how great he plays in the regular season, or the team plays in the regular season for that matter, he always finds a way in the postseason to be a failure. And honestly, a lot of people looked at DeMar DeRozan as the problem, and don't get me wrong, I definitely still think that DeMar DeRozan was a bigger problem than Kyle Lowry, but this season, those type of failures are not going to cut it, especially when you consider that this is Kawhi Leonard's contract year and the Toronto Raptors are trying to convince him to come back next season and sign a new deal, and especially when you consider that this team has the potential to go to the NBA Finals when you have players like Kawhi Leonard stepping up and Pascal Siakam. If Kyle Lowry can just play the way that he plays in the regular season, this team without question could potentially be and should be in the NBA Finals come June. So I don't understand why Kyle Lowry, the way that he's been playing, has been so pathetic. I mean, you can even go to the Orlando Magic series, because literally from game 1 where he scored 0 points and shot 0 of 7 from the field and 0 of 6 from 3, from there, he has been a complete disappointment. Throughout the series against the Orlando Magic, he averaged 11 points, 9 assists, 2 steals, and shot 43 to 44% from the field, but 32% from 3, and a pitiful 64% from the free throw line. Kyle Lowry was basically a disappointment in Orlando, and honestly, a lot of people overlooked it because of the fact that 1, they won, and 2, Kawhi Leonard stepped up, and 3, when you consider the fact that the Orlando Magic were really not that great of a team to begin with and probably shouldn't have even made the playoffs considering that the Eastern Conference is so weak, a lot of people kind of just brushed it aside. But it is becoming very glaring, especially considering the loss that they had to Philly 2 days ago. It is very disappointing considering how he played, not only in that game, but even in the other previous games. In game 1, he had a disappointing 9 points and 8 assists on 40% shooting from the field and was 0 of 4 from the three-point line. Hell, you can go to game 2 where yes, he did drop 20 points, but shot 41% from the field and 33% from 3. And honestly, I'm going to even give him a little bit of a pass there, because comparing that to some of the other performances, that's actually not that bad. So I definitely think we should give him just a little bit of a pass, even though they did lose by 5. But what happened in game 3 was completely unacceptable. Having 7 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds, and on 20% shooting from the field, this man shot 2 of 10 from the field, and once again missed all 4 shots from the three-point line. And even from the free throw line, he shot 60%. I am so disgusted with the performance of Kyle Lowry this postseason. And this is a team that has aspirations to win a championship, not just make it to the finals, but win a championship. This is a team that traded Valanciunas to get Marc Gasol so they could keep up with some of the bigs and some of the perimeter players on pick and rolls and switches, players such as Giannis Antetokounmpo and even Joel Embiid. This is a team that is trying so hard to make it to the NBA Finals to convince Kawhi Leonard to stay. Siakam has stepped up this year and in my opinion is the most improved player of the year, and this postseason has been one of the better players in the league. And Kawhi Leonard, as always, is playing out of his mind this postseason. So right now, I don't understand why Kyle Lowry basically can't even just knock down some open shots and he loses the ability to play basketball. Now, it's not all him. Danny Green has been struggling as well, but right now, the primary reason for their failures against Philly so far is their point guard, Kyle Lowry. And this is not a new thing. We all know that this is something that has been plaguing the Toronto Raptors, primarily Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, for years. This is a team that was scared of LeBron James, whether it was failures against the Nets or struggling against teams like the Heat, or last year struggling to beat teams like the Washington Wizards. DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry consistently found ways to choke in the postseason. And what I don't understand is that they've had so many good teams, and now DeRozan is gone, and they've replaced DeRozan with a player who is arguably a top 5 player in the NBA, a two-way wing player who can play offensively elite level and defensively at an elite level. And right now, I'm just baffled. I'm confused at how Kyle Lowry consistently, year by year by year, finds ways to screw up postseason runs, or should I say potential postseason runs that could give him a finals berth. I mean, if they were to make the NBA Finals, that would strongly add to Kyle Lowry's case to make the Hall of Fame. But I don't understand why he loses the ability just to play simple basketball that he was playing in the regular season. But this is not something new. I shouldn't be surprised at all. But I'm just more disappointed because this is such a great roster that has so many great role players that are stepping up game by game by game, not consistently, but they're stepping up when they need to. And I know they traded his best friend in DeMar DeRozan, and due to that, he was very vocal about his disappointment and disagreement with the move. But you got some really good players. You got players like Siakam who stepped up. The player that they traded your best friend in DeMar DeRozan for, they got Kawhi Leonard, a player who is a consensus top 10 player in the league, arguably the best defender in the league, will make an All-NBA defensive team, a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year every single season that he's healthy. You got good role players on your team. The coach even, Nick Nurse, is the coach of this team right now. But why is he the coach? Because they fired Dwayne Casey. And why did they fire Dwayne Casey? Well, if the reports are true, Kyle Lowry was not a big fan of Dwayne Casey after the second round loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers last year in the postseason. And last but not least, let's not forget that this is a guy who signed a 3-year, $90 million deal at the end of the 2017 NBA season. The man is making over $30 million a year and is giving such pitiful and piss poor performances as if he's being paid the opposite. And I just don't understand why. Look at everything they've given you. Better players, better management, or the management that you wanted, I should say, because they got rid of the coach who won the Coach of the Year that you didn't like just to please you. And you go out there and you consistently wet the bed and piss the floor every single night in the postseason. It's unacceptable, and his legacy right now is nothing more than a choker. And if this continues, he's not making the Hall of Fame. Because no matter what, yeah, a lot of players do make it with shittier resumes than Kyle Lowry, but 5 All-Star appearances and 1 All-NBA selection, and right now I don't see him making another All-Star appearance next year. Kyle Lowry, right now, this is your legacy. You're not going to make the Hall of Fame. And if you don't step up in this postseason right now, that's all you're going to be remembered for. A piss-poor performer in the playoffs who shrank under pressure every single time. A point guard that was good, but just not that good. YouTube, y'all let me know in the comment section your opinions down below. Also, you guys, make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the bell to be notified. Let me know what y'all think about Kyle Lowry, because maybe I'm tripping. Because the Toronto fans, apparently when you criticize their players, we don't watch Toronto basketball enough. That's why. So you guys let me know in the comment section where I went wrong or where I went right. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. The links are down below. Y'all have a great day. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Peace.